On Iran, the president said he's also considering secondary tariffs if Iran doesn't agree to a nuclear deal. Quote, if they don't make a deal, there will be bombing, and it will be bombing the likes of which they have never seen before.
While US-Iran relations have been tense ever since the Iranian Revolution in 1979, things have started to get worse this year. President Donald Trump said that he had left instructions to obliterate Iran if they assassinated him. If the world thought that both sides will show restraint and refrain from making this conflict very serious, the hopes have been belied. President Trump's offer of direct negotiations over the Iranian nuclear program has been rejected by the Iranians, who say that they will prefer indirect negotiations as they are not convinced with engaging with US under maximum pressure, as President Trump calls it, and military threats. To discuss this very serious development in the Middle East, we have with us Lieutenant General Raj Shukla, Member, Union Public Service Commission. Welcome to Samvad, sir.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for calling me. And your Samvad is growing, I'm seeing in audience.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Aapka Samvad badh raha hai.
Dhanyawad, sir.
Yes. So the
Sir, President
conversation
Donald Trump
is growing and deepening.
Pardon,
Yeah.
sir?
I said your conversation is blossoming and deepening.
Thank you, sir.
Samvad.
Thank you. Sir, we'll start with the present developments. President Donald Trump has said that if Iran fails to make a deal on the nuclear program, there would be bombing the likes of which they have never seen before. He has also sanctioned secondary tariffs on Iran if they fail to make the deal. But President Trump has sent a second carrier group into the region while one was already operating there. He sent the B-2 bombers to Diego Garcia. Now, we all know that B-2 bombers are the only planes capable of carrying the massive GBU-57 bombs, which are capable of destroying the Iranian underground nuclear sites. They are bombing the Houthis relentlessly, the US, for the past 2 weeks. The Iranians have also decided to up the ante. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Al-Khamenei has said and warned the US that if they act on Trump's threat, Iran will deliver a strong blow in retaliation. Now, they have also gone a step ahead and displayed their underground missile sites. Now, that is in full public display. Now, as people who are not participants in this whole scenario, sir, this all makes no sense. This saber rattling makes no sense. Sir, I would request you to help us to make sense out of it.
Okay, so my understanding, let me try and simplify the whole thing. Before we come to the nuclear stuff, let's look at Iran's strategic posture. So what was Iran's strategic posture in the era of Qasem Soleimani? Qasem Soleimani said that, listen, we will create this ring of fire again around Israel. Ring of fire was Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, and logistic support from Syria. So this was the ring of fire. We will resource this ring of fire greatly. So Hezbollah had 150,000 missiles of various kinds. And this was the pressure on Israel that if you ever target Iran directly, in a conventional manner or to hit our nuclear sites, this ring of fire will be unleashed on you. So this was the deterrent created by the genius of Qasem Soleimani from the Iranian point. And it changed the strategic dynamics in West Asia greatly. The earlier time when such a challenge was posed to Israel was by Arab nationalism, 1967-73, when Egypt, Jordan, and all waged those wars. Israel was very vulnerable in that phase, but it proved subsequently that its military could ward off and emerge victorious from that challenge mounted by Arab nationals. Soleimani, through this ring of fire, posed a new challenge. This was the challenge of Islamic fundamentalism through proxies. Israel was pressurized. And when the Hamas did what it did on the 7th of October, Israel appeared vulnerable like never before. It was very vulnerable. Now, as I said, this strategy had two shall we say, pillars. One was Qasem Soleimani, because he alone had the genius to, take Iranian statecraft on this route, create these proxies, work out a mechanism with Assad, do the diplomacy, the military stuff. And that is why he was such a larger-than-life figure in Iran. Ab hota kya hai? Trump in 1.0 takes out Soleimani. From the American point of view, it is very significant. And if you look at the quality of Iranian responses thereafter, they have been militarily very fragile. Iran is missing Soleimani. That genius, it turns out, was not replaceable. Uske baad, Israel has so penetrated their intelligence setup and all, that you are assassinating Ismail Haniyeh, in an IRGC secure base, hours after he presents the credentials to the Iranian president. Look at that vulnerability. मैं आपके घर आऊं, आप मेरे को खाना खिलाएं और मैं बाहर निकलूं और मैं उड़ा दिया जाऊं. What does it do to your power? And we are talking of states. So this is why Iran is missing him, Soleimani. उसके बाद क्या हुआ? This great fear कि अगर आपने कुछ किया ईरान को डायरेक्ट अटैक और न्यूक्लियर, ये हजबुल्ला वगैरह है, 150,000 missiles, ये तबाह मचा देगा इजराइल. And then Israel now does that very smart operation, unprecedented in military annals, without a parallel, pagers, walkie-talkies. So you penetrated their intelligence, their supply chain network. Can you imagine, Mayank, that you are Nasrullah और आपके आजू बाजू जो commanders हैं वो उड़ रहे हैं, and you are helpless. The pagers and the int operation is a separate subject. It is deep sophistication to be admired. कैसे किया उन्होंने? तो आपके commanders उड़े. अब जब आपने कहा कि भाई वो जो रैंक एंड फाइल है वो मिसाइल दागेगी, वॉकी टॉकी ऑन किए, वो भी उड़ गए. जब कमांड एंड कंट्रोल चला गया, they mounted these air strikes. Those 150,000 missiles have been reduced to 10,000. So both the weapons in the Iranian armory collapsed. Soleimani went, the genius was not there, leadership was not there, and Hezbollah was not there. एक का श्रेय ट्रंप को जाता है, दूसरा का श्रेय इजराइल को जाता है. In this circumstance, you mount that attack on Iran, of course aided and abetted by USA, air defense, intelligence, so on, and you hit their S-300s air defense system, severely penetrate the air defense, and you also hit their solid missiles, their solid fuel nuclear missile site. So Iran ko ye measure, yes, great signal went that, friend, you are extremely vulnerable. We can not only penetrate your AD, we can also penetrate we have hit an IRGC base. Abhi aap nihatte ho chuke ho, next attack and you are gone. Now this is where things stand when Mr. Trump arrives in 2.0. Abhi Trump साहब का ये मानना है, he sends that letter as you brought out in the first week of March. That letter is not public, but some excerpts have come out here and there. और उसका मुद्दा ये है central कि listen, you through JCPOA and all other, and I'm just giving the American viewpoint. This is not my viewpoint. I must reiterate, American viewpoint. That through all these measures, you have made a monkey out of us. We know the state of your nuclear program. आपने peace वगैरह की बात करके, you told us that there was a fatwa कि भाई हम weapons नहीं बनाएंगे, और उस आड़ में you have weaponized your uranium or enriched your uranium to 60% plus, which means you are just a few days away, and all assessments say that they have enriched uranium worth 5 to 6 bombs. So enrichment is no longer a challenge. Abhi challenge kya hai? Only challenge is that that uranium needs to be converted into a warhead and mated with a delivery mechanism missile. Now, to do a crude nuclear arrangement, it will take 2 to 3 weeks. But to do a sophisticated conversion into warhead and delivery, it may take 5 to 6 months. So Trump knows that from nuclearization, that the breakout time to nuclearization now is either 2 weeks or 5 to 6 months. Yehi window hai. That's the second point. The third point is, you look at it from the angle of West Asia or US. A nuclear North Korea is exercising outsized influence in the Korean Peninsula. सब डर जाते हैं. यूक्रेन ने 1993 में it had 1800 nuclear warheads and 480 strategic bombers. If they had not signed that trilateral agreement foolishly and surrendered their nuclear weapons to the Soviet Union and got independence from Soviet Union and became an independent state, would Zelensky have been humiliated by Trump that day like he was in the office? Ukraine kya ye haal hota? So these are the value of nuclear weapons. Everybody, nobody wants a nuclear Iran, not Israel, nor Saudi Arabia, nor perhaps Turkey, certainly not USA, because a nuclear Iran will change the dynamics of West Asia. I don't think even India will want a nuclear Iran. The fact of the matter is this. Now, on this backdrop, is Prashtbhumi mein Trump comes in 2.0 and sends that letter which we were talking of to the supreme leader and says, Dekho bhai, abhi no talk, you have 2 months. So that is finishing in the first week of May. You decide. I give you 2 options. Either you roll back all segments of your nuclear program peacefully. Now no longer any options to you. तो जो आपके सेंट्रीफ्यूज हैं, जो एनरिच्ड यूरेनियम है, जो वॉरहेड्स हैं, जिस स्थिति में है उसको आप रोल बैक कर दीजिए विद 100% वेरिफिकेशन. अगर आपने रोल बैक कर दिया, we will lift most of the sanctions, we will integrate you back in the economy, you people will prosper, we have no problem with you. But if you don't do it at the end of 2 months, we will take it out for you through military means. In sum, he is saying, या तो आप खुद ही अपने न्यूक्लियर प्रोग्राम को डिसमेंटल कर दीजिए या हम आपके लिए कर देंगे. अभी to show that he means business, he has moved 3 aircraft carriers, I think including USS Truman, जैसे आप बता रहे थे, 3 aircraft carriers. It is already a month. A lot of aircraft have moved in. Logistic basing has been improved. B-2 bombers, Diego Garcia, 6 of them. And not only do they have these, what you were referring to, massive ordnance penetrators, which are the only weapons capable of destroying underground bunkers where these nuclear sites are, they also have tactical nuclear weapons. Each of those B-2 bombers can carry 16 into 24,000 pound warheads, which are tactical nuclear weapons, which are the only ones which can take out these nuclear installations in a foolproof manner. So Israel certainly doesn't have the capability to militarily dismantle. Americans have in 2 modes, conventional mode and tactical nuclear weapon mode. Diego Garcia mein hai clear-cut signaling ki boss, you are vulnerable, Israelis have already made you vulnerable. We have a combination of air platforms and sea-based platforms to further neutralize your AD. Then these B-2 bombers will come and they will take out your nuclear weapons. We may also take out leadership targets. They have not specified, but members of the Guardian Council, top generals, leadership, it may lead to regime change. They are not specified, but this is the speculation. तो 2 साल में अगर आप 2 महीने में अगर आप नहीं माने, ये हम सब कर सकते हैं. The Iranians know in their minds that they are vulnerable. My reading is that if the Israelis and the Americans do this, they will paralyze the nuclear weapon program of Iran. They will not destroy it, because see what happened. जब इराक का reactor destroy हुआ, I think in 1989 or the whereabouts, and जब वो सीरिया वाला reactor निकाला था, little later in 2007, उस time वो जो दोनों nuclear facilities थी, they were very concentrated. 1981 and 2007, they were very concentrated. But from that experience, Iran has dispersed its assets across sites, in the very large area that Iran has put them underground. So no matter what you do, you cannot take out the complete nuclear program. You can delay it by 2 years, 4 years. Secondly, एक बार एक country के पास know-how आ जाती है, you can't take it out. Those scientists will pass it. So the speculation is that you can considerably delay it unless you do regime change. The nuclear weapon program will continue. Even with regime change, the nuclear weapon program will continue. But if you look from the American point of view, they have no options, because Iran is certainly on the path to weaponize. Very surprisingly, Tulsi Gabbard comes out with a statement, DNI, last week, saying that Iran has made no move since 2002 to weaponize its program. Now, I don't know what that means. I cannot make sense of it. If there is no move, then what is all this happening?
True.
So my reading is that bhai, something is happening. It is very close. This is the assessment of most experts. But from the Israeli-Iran USA point of view, they have no option but to take it out. This is also perhaps an excuse or an opportunity to take out the regime, because the current regime is hell-bent. They say Israel doesn't have a right to exist. Abhi jo Khomeini sahab ka dobara statement tha, Holocaust was not a mistake, and all those kinds of things. So this is where the whole issue is stuck, in my view. Trump has given a very clear missive कि भाई आप उसको खुद निकाल दीजिए, नहीं तो हम आपको उसके लिए निकाल देंगे. Now this is my reading of the whole thing as I understand it. Now if you have any follow-up questions and all, we can discuss.
Sir, जो आप describe कर what you're describing is a very scary situation, sir. It is actually, sir, it is an apocalyptic sort of a situation. And I would like to further intrude into the Iranian mindset. I mean, we know that Iran is the inheritor of a very ancient legacy, but yet it keeps behaving very strangely, which most people don't understand. It commits innumerable atrocities against its own people, especially the women. Then you were talking about the ring of fire, the Hamas, Houthi, Hezbollah, that proxy war groups, totally concentrating on the proxy war groups, and it is who are fighting an unwinnable war against Israel. Then their proxy in Syria is gone. Its economic condition is not very good because of sanctions from US. Yet it is displaying its missiles as if they are some sort of toys. IAEA in its latest report has red flagged the nuclear program and said that it is an issue of serious concern. Yet again, sir, the Press TV, which is the Iranian state-run news agency in English, it has an article which shows the US sites, the US personnel who are in the Iranian range, the new Iranian missile range. So I find it very provocative, and I would like you to decode the Iranian mindset. What do they want to achieve through all this?
अब देखो, ईरान की आपने इकोनॉमी की बात कही. Somebody was telling me when the revolution started, $1 was equal to 70 riyals. Today, $1 is equal to million riyals. So what is left of the economy? Inflation, ye wo. But they have become resilient in the sense, in the initial stages, there was nuclear nationalism. Agar aap Iran jate and you ordered a normal orange juice, they wouldn't say orange juice, they would say nuclear juice piyo. There was nuclear nationalism. Abhi dekho logon ki 2-3 अटकलें हैं. some of the Iranians say that, bhai, what have we got from these nuclear weapons? Our youth has been ruined. Youth has been ruined. Humko kya security mili? But there is another possibility that if America does this, possibly Iranians will unite. Iranians unite, as happens many times. So ye sari atkale hain. But the other issue is, ye jo Syria has been a severe loss because the air corridor to attack Iran is now open. It makes the air attacks that much easier. So, and Iran knows its AD systems are destroyed. It is vulnerable. उनके पास जो मिसाइल्स वगैरह हैं उन्होंने 2 बार दागी हैं इजराइल पे, कोई खास असर हुआ नहीं है. So their system is not so sophisticated. Even Israel would not have been able to do all this without American help. Look at the Aegis destroyers, intelligence, space-based intelligence, corrections. You know, the Americans are very potent technologically. But देखिए दूसरी बात क्या है? There are bigger troubles for Trump. In Europe, now there doesn't seem to be any ceasefire. Putin is cocking a snook at him. Zelensky says mineral agreement abhi sign karna hai to main give me access to NATO. So ceasefire is not working out there. And while Trump is transfixed on West Asia, I've written an article, it's coming out tomorrow in India's World. Look at what's happening in Taiwan. Admiral Paparo, CNC PACOM, has been screaming for weeks that these are not exercises by the Chinese, they are rehearsals for attack. Abhi aapne kaha it is apocalyptic. If Iran is apocalyptic, what will happen if Taiwan is taken by the Chinese? Look at how American businesses are built into the chips of the Taiwanese. Agar wo chips chali gayi, businesses will collapse, stock markets will crash. Look what will happen to maritime shipping. Look at what will happen to the power balance there. Agar America cannot defend Taiwan against China, what will Japan and South Korea do? They will nuclearize. So I quite appreciate the Iran situation. Now, if Trump does Iran, and as you said, if Iran reacts on those 50,000 American troops in those 10 odd bases, if it targets the Saudis, if it targets the refineries, then look at what happened. If America gets sucked into West Asia deeper, if I'm Z, I'll be tempted to do Taiwan quickly. So these are very, issues of game-changing import. What surprises me that India is not discussing any of them. हम बस tariffs की बात कर रहे हैं. Tariff is a small issue. And look at the implications for India. What is the quality of our air defense? Look at the whole nuclear stuff, how important it is. So there are serious. West Asia should worry us. Taiwan should worry us. And we should look at the serious implications on India. So in my view, I'm so glad you have brought up this program. They are very, very serious issues with respect to geopolitics, global trade, international shipping, the general balance of power and sanity in the world. So for a analyst like you and me, they are exciting times, but for others, they may be very, very disturbing times.
Yes, sir. When Trump intervened in Russia and Ukraine, we thought that he was pivoting towards the Indo-Pacific. But now he seems getting engaged in Iran. So what I was thinking, sir, if he is, I am still not able to find out as to why he is so keen on putting the Ayatollahs in place in the first hand and in the first instance before looking after Indo-Pacific. Or is it that they want one of the Chinese allies, Iran, which is a very prominent ally, to be out of the picture because of the energy situation, because China is massively dependent on Iranian oil. So could that be a thought process of taking Iran out first?
You have raised a very interesting issue. So let me answer it in two ways. Is oil still material? That's my first question. I'm questioning the premise that oil matters so much. And the second is what is the deeper philosophy of MAGA, the strategic philosophy of MAGA, make America great again. Their oil surprises me. If you go to the Middle East now, you go to Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, they are talking of non-oil growth. They are talking of pioneering renewables. They are talking of developing energy centers, data centers and all, powering the data centers to fuel the AI revolution of the world. They are talking of distancing themselves from Islamic fundamentalism. There is one discourse, Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, is इलाके. एक ईरान वाला इलाका है, Islamic fundamentalism, Palestine issue. What the Trump plan is to link this modernizing strategic discourse through the Abraham Accord with Israel and change the whole narrative in Middle East from Islamic fundamentalism, oil, to these issues. At least in ideation, it's a good thing. Whether it happens or not is different. अच्छा, एक तरफ तो सऊदी अरेबिया वगैरह कह रहा है कि साहब हमको अभी ऑयल की जरूरत नहीं है, हम उसको दबा के रखेंगे, we are looking at non-oil growth. Back home, Trump is saying, अभी तक अमेरिका की philosophy क्या थी? See, America was never short of oil. They have enough oil resources. They said, we will keep our oil buried. Why should we use it? We will keep it for the future. We have got the power to mint money. हम पैसा print करेंगे, दुनिया से oil खरीदेंगे. Or we will keep the oil prices low because we will leverage it with military power. Now, Trump has changed that. He's saying, drill, baby, drill. Oil, we will become an energy power. So, this is the oil paradigm. They will make their own oil. They are not dependent on the Middle East for any oil. That's the point I'm making. So, the oil motivation to transfix our strategic thought when it comes to the Middle East is an anachronism. In my view, it is no longer a material issue. भाई oil की तो कमी नहीं है, USA अपना oil निकालेगा. Trump is talking of becoming energy superpower. Now look at the bigger MAGA philosophy. देखो, I have been saying for a while on many platforms that Trump is not an outlandish maverick. सोचते ना सर फिरा है. There is deep thought behind the MAGA movement. You and your viewers must study Hudson Institute की एक स्टडी है प्रोजेक्ट 2025, एक अमेरिका फर्स्ट पॉलिसी इंस्टीट्यूट की स्टडी है. लुक एट स्टीव बैनन, हिज आइडियोलॉग, उसका एक पॉडकास्ट है वॉर रूम. Whatever Trump is doing has been deeply thought through for 15 years. जो ये टैरिफ्स की बात आज हो रही है, Trump's made this point first in the 1980s. Trump. The world was not listening. Now, what is that broad MAGA strategic philosophy? Very simply, it is American power is declining, so it's an honest appraisal. Our commitments are growing. Europe, West Asia, Indo-Pacific. So pare down the commitments, retreat the American military instruments to Western Hemisphere, repair it before we can take on the challenges of the world. It's an honest appraisal. वो अपने वर्ड्स में कहते हैं, भाई, we spend $950 billion, 800 bases, 80 countries, 11 aircraft carriers, and our military is an opera of failing deterrence. So their catchphrases are, bring lethality to the military, mission readiness, warrior ethos. Military को repair करना है. In today's state, we cannot take on China. The second thing, when he says, wind down these conflicts, end these wars, he's saying, why are we wasting on energy in Europe and West Asia? The threat is China. Wind down these wars and let's go to the Indo-Pacific. Entirely logical. जो third point उनका है, कह रहा है भाई, यूरोप $21 trillion इकोनॉमी और ये इतनी ऐशो आराम की मुद्रा में है. एनर्जी आप रशिया से ले रहे थे, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग आप चाइना को एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे थे, तो आपकी इकोनॉमी तो धड़ाधड़ चल रही थी, और सिक्योरिटी अमेरिका से. वाह. तो दे आर सेइंग, भाई मेरे, प्लीज, मैसेज क्या था एक्सेट का और जेडी वैंस का, दैट स्टॉप मिल्किंग अस, वी आर नॉट फूल्स, स्पेंड ऑन योर डिफेंस. व्हाट इज रॉन्ग विद इट फ्रॉम द अमेरिकन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू? अब पॉइंट ये है, इंडो पैसिफिक में क्या है? इफ यू नोटिस, गो बैक टू ऑल प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंसेस, a very voluble Trump, when he's asked about Taiwan, he says, I will not answer this. That is the only question he doesn't answer. But his balance of his national security team, Abhi Pete Hegseth was in Philippines. He says we will re-establish deterrence in the Indo-Pacific. Unka jo Elbridge Colby hai, the nominee for Under Secretary of Defense Policy, when he was asked in his hearing, he qualified it. He said, we will deter USA, but Taiwan is not a treaty ally. Taiwan, we may come to their aid, or we will come to their aid if Taiwan enhances its defense expenditure to 10% of GDP. You first show you are serious, then we will come to your aid. If you are not serious, we may not come to your aid.
No, it is not an existential issue, he said, sir.
Yes, so he qualified it. Achha, he changed his own thing because he earlier had said Iran is not an existential threat. But a nuclear Iran is an existential threat. So he has, qualified it. But Taiwan को उसने ये बोला है, जो बाकी treaty allies हैं, Japan, South Korea, privately they have been told, you are treaty allies, we'll come to your aid, but please enhance your defense budget, share the burdens. तो अच्छा, एक बड़ा famous statement है Trump का to John Bolton, his national security advisor in Trump 1.0. He picked up a pen on his desk. It was a Sharpie pen. और बड़ा सा डेस्क था, resolute desk उसको बोलते हैं. He said, यार, this Taiwan is like a pen. China is the resolute desk. So look what the analogy is. The reference was that is it worth taking on China for the sake of Taiwan? इतना दूर है. It is not existential. ये उसके mind में घूम रहा है. So he's not committing. His national security team is saying that we will deter because they know the problems. All we said, chip balance, business, stock market, allies kya sochenge. So it's not that Taiwan can be given away. So they will deter. Definitely they will deter. But will Trump fight or will he fold? That's the question. My understanding is he will deter. He may fight only if there is a good chance of Taiwan winning. So if Taiwan spends 10%, other allies shape up, and it looks like he's winning, America will come into the fight. Otherwise, he may well conclude that Taiwan is a Sharpie pen, China is a resolute desk, and he may do a deal with China. Trump can do a deal with China, saying that the others didn't shape up. What could I do? So now look at this whole thing. जो tariffs वाला argument है उसका, उससे पहले Doge ले लो. He says, यार, our debt is $36 trillion. He's right. There's an economist, Adam Ferguson, who says when a nation's debt servicing, तो $36 trillion पे जो कर्जा है, वो interest है, ब्याज, it is $1 trillion. When the debt servicing begins to exceed your defense budget, it's the beginning of your decline. Debt servicing today is $1 trillion, defense budget is $925 billion. So they recognize that this is the beginning of the decline. So cut this debt. So Doge, wasteful spending. Tariffs पे वो कहते हैं भाई हमारे पास 7 दिन के munitions नहीं है चीन के साथ लड़ने के लिए. China can manufacture 10,000 missiles a week because our industrial capacity has gone up. So tariffs बढ़ाओ ताकि industry comes back. Now you look at it from their perspective and link all these things. It is a perfect grand strategy, but usko amal karne mein, as Trump is discovering, there are problems. Wars don't wind down so easily. Putin साहब के अलग नखरे हैं, Zelensky सुन नहीं रहा है, Iran में अलग मसला है. Now these are all the problems of being a great power. These are the challenges.
Sir, you just said that Taiwan could be the next place of conflict because China is watching the whole situation very studiously. US has depleting weapons, you said, sir, a week's munitions left. They have been supplying relentlessly to Ukraine and Israel. So obviously the armaments are not in the best of shape. The CIA itself has predicted that 2027 could be the deadline for the Chinese invasion of Taiwan. Now we have all known that Faustian bargains have been done in geopolitics ever since eternity. Now, I would put you in a hypothetical situation, sir. If you were Xi Jinping, would you not see this as a window opportunity if at all US get involved in Iran, gets bogged down? Will this not be a window of opportunity for China to invade? Because the window is also closing for Xi. He is also advancing in age. How do you see this situation, sir?
So if I'm Xi Jinping, 2023, in my conversation with Biden, I had pointed out to him that China, as of today, is a very formidable military power. In the first island chain, your aircraft carriers cannot come. My rocket force is very potent. My strategic support force is very potent. But so I've been telling you for a while that, yeah, please retreat to your corner of the Pacific. You are not the same USA. You know it. I know it. Please retreat. And you go to your Greenland and to your hemisphere. We are far too powerful for you. And what am I doing? I'm every day air violations, I'm increasing, blockades, I'm increasing, missile firings, I'm increasing, drone parades, drone swarms. Why you said that we only copy. With DeepSeek, I've shown you that we can innovate. We are innovating at lower costs. In DeepSeek, out of my 211 boys who worked on DeepSeek, 60% have not left China. So my university system now has innovation. It has the best and the brightest in China are at home. Out of 65 emerging critical technologies, I lead in 57. Please let that sink in. So the strategic military balance has changed greatly. And by all these exercises, your own CNC IPACOM, Admiral Paparo, has been warning the world that these are no longer exercises, they are rehearsals for attack. So what am I doing? I'm putting pressure on you in the hope that you will see reason, you will see the balance of power shifting, and you will not fight. And if you don't fight, Taiwan is mine. This is winning without fighting. We are now big powers, nuclear powers. Smell the coffee, see the balance of power. Why do you want to fight? And by privately, I will tell you that where is Taiwan? It is 100 miles from me. Will you allow me to do something in Cuba? So please see logic. And I'm showing you the power. So I'm telling you through display of power in private conversations that Taiwan is mine. Privately, what have I done? I have put my economy into war mode. There are hospitals coming up. I'm increasing my grain stocks, energy stocks. I'm planning all this. I have said times without number, enough of wealth. We now to convert this wealth into power. I have told my military to be ready. Why have I sacked those 86 generals? Some of them for corruption, many of them who told me that they were not ready. So I mean business. I'm trying to reason it out with you that why go into a war? Please see the changing balance of power. I'm also telling you that if Ukraine was the first hot war of Cold War 2.0, this may be the second Cold War, second hot war, or it could be Cuban Missile Crisis in reverse. In the Cuban Missile Crisis, Russia had to come all the way to run the blockade. Please understand, America, you have to come. I have all the advantages. You still want a silly fight? The choice is yours. And the other thing that you pointed out, that America wants to split Russia and China. They are saying Nixon reverse. Arey bhai, please understand, last time when Nixon separated China from Soviet Union, we were at war. There were border skirmishes going on. Today, Russia and China are so close, you try your best. You will not separate us. So it's not only Chinese military power, it is China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. You want a larger battle, World War III, the choice is yours. Don't get Taiwan to fight their battle through you. Please don't be so silly. Taiwan is ours. So this is my message. Every day I increase pressure on you. And I also know Trump's transactional nature. So it's very likely that I may one day do a deal with you. And if some concessions Trump wants, we will give it. If you want some chips, TSMC chip factories to go to USA, we will do it. There are other concessions we can do. But my military power is relentless. Every day I will show you more. Secondly, you are already so outstretched. Your debt is $36 trillion. If you want to spend on your military, where is your money? You don't have the money. I have the money. Look at my budget. I don't talk, I act. Last budget, my technology expenditure went up by 7%. This is when the whole West is saying that my economy is faltering. I increased my technology budget by 7%, military budget by 6%, education 5%, health 4%. Why health and education less? Because when you were sleeping, I was changing my health and education system in 1990, 2000. So this is a very different China. We are beating you in every domain. So you still want to fight a bloody fight? Choice is yours. Or let me give you one more idea. Let us divide the world into 3 ecospheres. China-led Asia, और कोई है? India है, उससे हम निपटेंगे. Russia-led Europe, and you please reign in your Western Hemisphere. आप राज करिए वहां पे. Greenland और Canada, वो सब आप देखिए. Let us now be in our 3 hemispheres, and between us, let us decide what this world will do. So a new world order built about 3 powers, the real powers who matter. Europe though is decaying. Europe's share of global GDP has declined from 34 to 17. India है, but अभी India को time है, $4 trillion economy है, उसकी time है. तब तक हम राज करेंगे. So this is the argument which Xi may give Trump, hoping that Trump will see reason.
So this Faustian bar, this is what I had in mind when I said, sir, there might be a Faustian bargain over the semiconductor chips. We get the chips, you get the country. Maybe. I mean, it's all very hypothetical, and we hope it does not come to that. But sir, the scenario you are describing, you said it is very scary. Sir. It is honestly very scary. If it comes to that, and the world gets it divided into 3 major powers, Russia, China, and US. What does this mean for India?
So this is one possibility. Let us take the other possibility. The other possibility is that Trump really wants MAGA. He's a real deep thinker, where he's sincerely trying to wind down wars elsewhere. Iran pe kuch kar dega. He may, all this pressure may lead to Iran doing a deal. Iran will say, अच्छा, हम nuclear program नहीं करेंगे. It may happen. Very possibility 1 महीना है आज. ये सब pressure है. दूसरा, some kind of ceasefire in Europe. If it doesn't work, it may be that I'm seriously pivoting to Indo-Pacific. And I may tell Z privately that देखो बाकी हर जगह मैं आपसे compromise करने को तैयार हूँ. Taiwan पे compromise नहीं. Because this is not a matter of Taiwan. This is, if Taiwan goes, it may be the end of Trumpism. लोग कहेंगे आप मागा कर रहे थे, हुआ क्या? जापान बोलेगा आप ताइवान को तो नहीं बचा पाए, आप हमको क्या बचाएंगे? South Korea बोलेगा, it will lead to the collapse of the alliance system. So my conclusion on Trump is that make all the noises in Taiwan, strengthen deterrence, बाकी strategic ambiguity. वो क्या है? To Taiwan, I will help you if you increase defense budget. Then we will see what are the political circumstances. We will see. So that is strategic ambiguity. Strategic ambiguity allows him to come to the aid, also through a deal. Sharpie pen wale usme. So ye thoughts are going through his mind. As a president, he has not concluded these possibilities are there. But one thing, you cannot accuse Trump of lack of courage or risk taking. वो सब कुछ साथ लेने को तैयार है. टैरिफ में भी हलचल. He is not one of those cautious players कि पहले यहाँ करेंगे फिर वहाँ करेंगे. Oh, he's actually looking at a new world order. He believes that America is the greatest country on earth. They have been fooled, as he says, the world has been screwing us. सब हमको बेवकूफ बना रहे थे. अभी ये सब नो फ्री लंचेस, डिफेंस पे अपना खर्चा कीजिए, टैरिफ्स रेसिप्रोकल, आप हमारी विस्की पे लगाएंगे, हम आपके जेम्स पे लगाएंगे, मेहरबानी नहीं, बहुत अच्छे दोस्त हैं, बट भाई एकदम क्लियर. So I and you can be very good friends, but if we go for a meal, I will tell you mine Dutch. एकदम साफ. पुराने जो अमेरिकन प्रेसिडेंट्स थे टू से मयंक आ जाओ यार, खाना खाओगे, चलो पूरा बिल हम उठाएंगे. ये ट्रम्प इज डच. Transactional, but not stupid. So at the end of the day, I say, take Trump. Don't take Trump literally. Take him seriously. कि भाई हर बात पे वो बारीकी से उसको मत लो. कभी कुछ कहता है, नहीं हो पाता, he keeps changing, but he's serious. And in the larger plan, from the American point of view, what is wrong? What is he saying in a sense? कि यार जो आप डेट किया रखा है, गवर्नमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर कम करो, रोज जो ये टैरिफ्स में लोगों ने बेवकूफ बनाया है उसको रैशनलाइज करो. एंड द लार्जर प्लान इज व्हाट? दैट टैरिफ्स विल गेट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग बैक. टैरिफ से हम रेवेन्यू लेंगे और अमेरिका के अंदर दैट ड्रीम विल बी बैक. वी विल एबॉलिश इनकम टैक्स. रेवेन्यू सारे बाहर से आएंगे. हमारे यहाँ भी renowned economists like Subramanian Swamy have been arguing that abolish income tax. 3.2 crore Indians pay income tax here. 143 crore may 3 crore pay income tax. So, you know, there are larger issues. We may not agree with all of them. I don't agree with many of them. But there is logic in what he's saying and doing. Now, how it pans out is a different matter.
Sir, how should India see all this? Taiwan, China,
Exactly.
Iran, US.
I'm saying, so India should see it like this. 2 to 3 quick points. Right? Today, India is the 5th largest economy, 3rd largest economy soon to be. You are now in the big power league. You have entered the gymnasium of big power competition. You cannot have the lazy functioning of yesterday. Your national security technology game has to step up in sophistication. You can't give lazy arguments कि भाई FADS या इस वजह से ये नहीं हो सकता. वो हमारे जो arguments हैं, भाई आप नहीं करोगे कोई और कर देगा. चीन कर रहा है, अमेरिका कर रहा है. I've been arguing for civil military fusion. Let me tell you, Mayank, if there is one metric because of which China is beating all democracies, including India, it is civil military fusion. These are these powerful metaphors. We have to do these cultural changes. If this whole FADS system is coming in the way of rapid procurements, rapid building of capacities, revisit it. Let the FADS revisit it. You can't play those lazy games of the past. You are in big power competition. See what's happening. India is in a lucky peace dividend. West Asia में देखो क्या हो रहा है. Missiles उड़ रही. If I were in Israel, we may in 5 minutes have to head to a bunker. You can't sleep at night. Look at what is happening to Ukrainians. Look at what happened to Zelensky. These are the costs of being innocent about national security. And geopolitics is brutal. If you are not respectful towards national security, अगर आप राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा का आदर नहीं करेंगे, आपका वो हाल होगा जो यूक्रेन का हुआ, जो अमेरिका का हो रहा है. So these are your peace dividend. इसको संभालो और step up your capacity, speed and scale. 3 things I can tell you. Stealth-enabled offensive firepower. One critical requirement. AD. Study that जो मैंने आपसे अभी जिक्र किया, Golden Dome. What the Americans are doing for the Chinese rocket force. We need a drone missile force. The one thing that, you know, has saved Ukraine in the war is innovation. Innovation cannot happen at the rate of regulation. We have to deregulate and innovate. ये सब बड़ी चीजें हैं. अगर हमने किया, this is the surest way to protect our ride into Amrit Kal, to Viksit Bharat. But if you don't do this, that Viksit Bharat will be insecure. और लास्ट मैं ये अर्ज करना चाहूंगा, ये पेशकश रखना चाहूंगा. देखिए 1962 And the world, as geopolitics tells us, जो आप कह रहे हो कि बड़ी भयानक स्थिति है, what is it? It is that the world has swiveled in geopolitics from economics to national security. Hard power started mattering. This government has initiated very good reforms in national security. मैं कई बार जिक्र कर चुका हूँ आपके प्लेटफॉर्म पे. The national security makeover has been done. We have brought the instrument of force pretty central to our strategic calculus. We now need to nourish it. We now need to resource it. 62 में we sent our troops ill-clothed, ill-equipped. 1990 में General Malik ने कहा, we will fight with what we have. Has the time come to deter our adversaries? कि लड़ाई करने की जरूरत ही ना पड़े. China is not an irrational power. अगर वो देखेगा हम मजबूत हैं, it will back off. Or if we have to send our troops to war, or if we have to join a fight, we must give them the capacities and the technologies that they need to win. So sum and substances that are not military capacities only, strategic military, technology, diplomacy, सब. अभी आप big power gymnasium में हैं, अगर आपने चूक की, मुश्किल बढ़ जाएगा. Your game needs to be long term, sophisticated, a whole lot of things. Whole lot. Look at our startups. I think today Mr. Goel, if Twitter is right, he has reprimanded our startups. Ki bhai, you are doing this cheap. I have been saying on your platforms for long. Aap internet app kar rahe hain. Who will do the deep technologies? Deep technologies kaun karega? आप देखिए, look at the animal spirits of AI in China. Deep Seek का मैंने जिक्र किया, यार उसने कमाल किया. Every day it's turning out a model challenging this, Chat GPT. And Alibaba, who was out of favor with Z in 2022, says, okay, I will come back into his good books. How AI? He invests in AI. Today, the QN app of Alibaba is competing with DeepSeek. DeepSeek research कर रहा है, वो commercial models churn out कर रहा है. And once he builds QN, which is a leading AI model, Z invites him back to the table. पिछले महीने वो जो क्या होते हैं, 2 technology से 2 sessions, he's invited back. तो आप देखिए कंपटीशन, स्पीड, स्केल, ये जो है ना, ये जो तेवर हमने नहीं पकड़े हैं भारत. वी हैव टू स्टेप अप आवर गेम. ये करना चाहिए भारत. एंड वी आर लकी. पीस डिविडेंड. कोई हमारी मिसाइल नहीं उड़ रही है इधर उधर. वी हैव टू यूज दिस टाइम.
I would like to conclude on that note कि strategic naivety is not on, and the world is a gymnasium, and you need to play. You need to have muscles as well as the methods of how to use those muscles. Otherwise, muscles can't.
Muscles, so that you don't have to fight. I'm making an argument for peace. आप मेरी muscle देखें और डर जाए.
जी.
और अगर आप कमजोर देखेंगे मेरे को दुर्बल, तो चढ़ जाएंगे आप.
Thank you
deterrence.
so much.
I'm making an argument for deterrence. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. And we hope that this conflict dies down and it does not come to shove for any country. Thank you so much. Absolutely. And thank you for sparing time for us, sir. Thank you.
Great pleasure, man. Thank you very much. Good night. Thank you. Jai Hind.